completely cold. This person stepped into your energy and rewired the atmosphere. The cards sensed it before I even shuffled. A bond this magnetic does not form quietly. It announces itself and forces everyone nearby to pay attention. Whatever lives between you two carries a gravitational intensity that pulls focus from people who walk past. The world around this connection will react visibly soon because energy this concentrated refuses to stay hidden. This relationship heads toward territory that will make others stop and stare with undeniable jealous envy. They are in love with you completely, and the road ahead requires holding on with everything you have. I feel their devotion pressing against every card here, and the weight of it bends this entire reading. Nothing they carry for you is casual. It is absolute and demands to be fully witnessed. The intensity pouring off this spread is not something I encounter often, and it left me momentarily speechless. Your connection produces a frequency that other people can physically sense, even without understanding the source. The first card is the Two of Cups, and it landed with the force of a full declaration. The Two of Cups represents mutual exchange so balanced that it creates its own gravitational atmosphere entirely. Both energies flowing between you are perfectly matched, and that level of symmetry is almost impossibly rare. Attraction between you moves in both directions equally, and this card confirms that truth with total authority. People nearby will notice something different about your presence because this union radiates an undeniable glow. The Two of Cups does not arrive for ordinary bonds. It appears when two forces merge into legend. Following that, we have the Empress, and she introduces abundance flooding every dimension of this connection. The Empress brings fertility to everything she touches, and your bond blooms in staggering, undeniable ways. Growth between you two will accelerate so fast that outsiders will struggle to understand the speed of it. This card confirms the relationship nourishes both deeply, feeding parts of your spirit previously left starving. Luxury and warmth define the texture of this bond, and scarcity holds no position anywhere near your energy. The Empress wraps this connection in richness others observe, and their response will be pure, speechless fascination. Then we see the Knight of Wands, and this card carries heat that borders on total combustion here. The Knight of Wands brings passionate, relentless pursuit, and this person embodies every ounce of that fire. Their desire operates at a temperature that dissolves barriers, and holding back is no longer their option. This is not cautious affection or calculated interest. This is a wildfire that chose you and refused stopping. Their devotion will be loud and visible to everyone, and that boldness will turn heads in every direction. The Knight of Wands moves with the certainty of a person who chose their destination and never wavered. Our final card is the Seven of Cups, revealing overwhelming possibilities expanding rapidly in front of you. The Seven of Cups confirms this connection opens unimagined doors, and each one leads somewhere truly extraordinary. Options previously invisible will materialize fast now, and this relationship becomes the catalyst behind every opening. Future pathways multiply around this bond with increasing speed, and the Seven of Cups maps each one beautifully. Together, these four cards paint a picture so vivid that jealousy from outside observers becomes practically inevitable. What you share becomes the standard others measure their connections against, and most will fall short. This relationship carries a signature that cannot be faked, and its authenticity draws every watching eye. Hold tightly to what forms between you now, because this love permanently reshapes everything it touches. The foundation building here will leave others wondering what secret ingredient fuels it, and the answer is love. Stay through every part of this reading, because each section exposes another dimension of what is truly unfolding. The energy pivots sharply in this section, and the cards want to sit with your side now. I sense layers of heavy emotion beneath your composure, and this part finally gives them a proper voice. You have been carrying more weight than your expression reveals, and the toll sits deep inside. Doubt crept in during moments you never expected, and it planted questions that loop endlessly. Part of your heart reaches forward with wild confidence, but another part guards every vulnerable inch. That internal tug creates an exhaustion that nobody around you can accurately see or understand. You wonder privately whether something this powerful lasts, or whether the intensity eventually burns out. That question haunts your quietest hours, and your mind offers no resolution, no matter how it cycles. Your body already knows the answer your thoughts refuse to accept, and that conflict drains you daily. The first card is the Five of Cups, and it captures grief you carry from connections that disappointed. Loss left fingerprints on your ability to trust, and those marks still influence how you receive affection. The Five of Cups shows that past heartbreak taught you to brace, even when openness is deserved. You mourn possibilities that collapsed before they matured, and that sadness bleeds into present decisions. What the Five of Cups also reveals is overlooked abundance standing right behind the loss you fixate on. Blessings sit in your peripheral vision constantly, and this card urges you to finally rotate your gaze. The Five of Cups honors grief without letting it devour your present, and that balance matters deeply. The gifts already present in your life outnumber the wounds, but grief made you temporarily forget that. Following that, we have the Hermit, and it reflects the solitary processing defining your emotional rhythm. You retreat inward when feelings intensify, and that withdrawal is how your spirit processes overwhelming input. The Hermit confirms your need for isolation is not avoidance. It is a necessary method of translation. Clarity arrives for you only in complete stillness, and this card honors that pathway without judgment. The lantern in this card burns steadily inside you, illuminating answers that surface when noise disappears. Trust that private processing cycle completely, because wisdom emerging from it will guide every decision ahead. Solitude became your sanctuary and your workshop, and the self-knowledge you built there is genuinely priceless. Then we see the Queen of Pentacles, and she mirrors grounded, practical strength operating beneath your emotions. You approach love with a builder's mentality, measuring foundations before committing weight to any structure. The Queen of Pentacles confirms your pragmatic nature is not coldness, it is intelligence dressed in patience. You refuse to invest emotional resources into anything unstable, and that standard protected you more than once. This card celebrates the balance between your tender heart and sharp mind, working together as unified power. Your ability to nurture without losing yourself in the process is a rare strength most cannot replicate. The Queen of Pentacles never appears for fragile spirits. It arrives only for builders who create from patience. Our closing card for this section is the Three of Swords, addressing a wound still echoing through you. A betrayal or deep disappointment carved a mark that healed on the surface, but never dissolved underneath. The Three of Swords confirms that lingering pain shaped your guardedness, but it no longer defines you. That wound served as a teacher, and its lesson prepared you for what your past self never could. Your heart survived damage that would have closed weaker spirits, and yet here you stand, still fully open. That resilience is not something you celebrate enough, and the cards want you to acknowledge it properly. Every cautious boundary and sleepless night built you into the exact version equipped for what approaches now. The pain you survived was not pointless cruelty. It was preparation disguised as destruction, and it worked perfectly. You are not broken from what happened before. You are reinforced, and that difference changes absolutely everything. Something extraordinary waits beyond this section, and the next part speaks directly to your deepest questions. A different presence enters this reading now, and I feel their energy arriving with intense urgency. The cards pull me into their private world, and what exists there is far more complex than expected. This person has been battling themselves internally, and the conflict between desire and fear runs deep. On the outside, they project confidence and composure, but the interior tells a completely different story. Their thoughts revolve around one fixed point obsessively, and that center of gravity carries a familiar name. Love dismantled them with an intensity they never expected, and the shock altered every internal compass. They tried to manage these feelings rationally, and every logical framework they applied collapsed under the weight. The first card is the Devil, and it exposes obsessive attachment forming inside their emotional wiring. The Devil does not represent negativity here. It reveals an attraction so strong it feels like possession. This person cannot stop thinking about what they feel, and the relentlessness borders on beautiful madness. Their mind returns to the same face during every idle moment, and fighting that current proved useless. The Devil confirms attachment beyond rational explanation, operating on a level beneath conscious thought entirely. Resistance was attempted many times inside their mind, and every single effort crumbled under the genuine weight. Something primal inside them recognized a counterpart, and once that lock engaged, nothing could undo it. They wrestle nightly with the magnitude of this attachment, and the surrender frightens them more than the feeling. The Devil stripped away every comfortable denial they relied upon, and raw, unfiltered truth replaced the illusion. The Page of Cups arrives next, revealing a tender innocence reawakening inside their otherwise guarded heart. This person experienced a softening they never anticipated, and that vulnerability caught them entirely off guard. The Page of Cups shows old emotional walls developing fractures, and tenderness started leaking through slowly. A childlike openness emerged from underneath years of protection, and it terrifies them as much as it heals. They began feeling things with a rawness abandoned long ago, and that resurrection transformed their entire perspective. The Page of Cups carries messages their mouth cannot deliver, and those unspoken words accumulate pressure daily. Every rehearsed conversation dissolves before reaching their lips, because the depth overwhelms any available language. The undelivered message grows louder inside their ribcage daily, and the pressure of silence becomes physically painful. Following that, we see the Nine of Wands, capturing the exhaustion of guarding emotions this massive alone. The Nine of Wands shows a person standing battered but unbroken, refusing to surrender despite every wound. Their emotional stamina has been tested relentlessly, and maintaining composure is becoming almost unbearable now. Every wall they maintained demanded enormous energy, and the cost of that performance finally catches up. The Nine of Wands confirms they are exhausted from pretending, and the facade approaches its breaking point. Surrender is no longer a question of whether, but when, and the timeline shortened dramatically in recent weeks. Our final card is the Magician, introducing a powerful creative shift happening inside their consciousness now. The Magician reveals this person possesses every tool needed to manifest what they secretly desire most. Resources and abilities were always available to them, but fear prevented activation until this exact moment. The Magician confirms transformation from passive longing into active creation, and the timing is truly imminent. Their internal alchemy reached a critical threshold recently, and what emerges from that reaction changes everything. Every ingredient needed for the next chapter already exists within, and the Magician signals the activation. This person stands at the intersection of willingness and capability, and both forces are now fully aligned. What brews inside them cannot be contained much longer, and the pressure of unspoken devotion demands release. Their transformation accelerated beyond their own conscious awareness, and the cards captured the precise moment of shift. Nothing about their next chapter will resemble what came before, and every card in this section proves it. The energy in this reading accelerated violently, and momentum crashes through every remaining card now. Stillness officially ended between you two, and the phase of visible, undeniable movement begins right here. This person crossed from contemplation into committed action, and the transition happened faster than expected. Decisions circling their mind finally crystallized, and the direction they chose is unmistakably and permanently clear. A fire ignited beneath their determination recently, and nothing slows the trajectory they committed to completely. They finished with waiting and overthinking, and the era of concrete, physical forward steps has officially arrived. The first card is the Wheel of Fortune, and it signals a massive turning point arriving right now. The wheel does not spin for trivial situations. It turns only when destiny demands a brand new chapter. Fate actively reorganizes the circumstances surrounding you both, and permanent obstacles dissolve rapidly without warning. The wheel confirms that cosmic timing aligned precisely here, and everything shifts in your favor with speed. External blocks that halted progress are clearing away now, and the path opening before you is stunningly direct. What felt impossible even recently suddenly becomes achievable, and the wheel guarantees that momentum holds firm. Destiny is the only accurate word for what unfolds next, and it operates with surgical precision toward you. Forces beyond your control orchestrated this exact timing, and the perfection of it will leave you both stunned. The Wheel of Fortune rotated specifically for this connection, and its momentum carries divine weight behind every turn. Circumstances that appeared random will reveal themselves as orchestrated, and the pattern becomes undeniable to both of you. Following that is the Six of Wands, carrying triumphant, victorious energy pouring directly into this connection. The Six of Wands represents public recognition and success, and this relationship is about to receive both. Other people will witness this bond flourishing openly, and the visibility of your happiness sparks intense reactions. What you share refuses to hide from the world. It demands to be seen and celebrated openly. Victory is not a future possibility here. It is a present reality already forming solidly around you both. This relationship stands as proof that genuine love exists, and others will measure their own bonds against it. The Six of Wands brings a spotlight that elevates everything, and your connection steps boldly into that light. Celebration and public acknowledgement arrive together soon, and the recognition of what you built feels deeply earned. The applause surrounding this bond catches you off guard because you never built it for any audience. Envy from the outside world becomes a mirror reflecting back exactly how extraordinary this love truly is. Our final card is the Ace of Wands, introducing a brand new, passionate, creative beginning between you both. The Ace of Wands represents the spark of a fresh chapter, igniting possibilities that neither anticipated previously. A brand new creative spark was planted between you recently, and its growth rate astonishes everyone watching. The passion fueling this next chapter burns with a different quality, and it carries sustainability alongside its intensity. The Ace of Wands appears only when raw, untapped potential demands activation and refuses to wait any longer. Action is no longer theoretical or distant. It is immediate and tangible, and arriving with direct force. These three cards combined create momentum so powerful that nothing external can redirect the course being set. The movement you sensed building was not wishful thinking. It was destiny completing its final arrangements for you. Hold on to this connection fiercely right now, because the acceleration only intensifies with each passing day. Nothing about the coming momentum will be subtle. It arrives with the certainty of a sealed verdict. The cards declared forward motion with absolute unanimity, and every sign points toward rapid, visible transformation. Everything required for the next phase is in motion, and the universe confirms the timing with total authority. The jealousy this relationship generates from outside is simply recognition that what you possess is genuinely rare. The cards cracked open a hidden layer in this reading, and what pours out is raw, unfiltered confession. This is where every mask gets stripped away, and only naked emotional truth remains on the table. If your body reacts physically while hearing this, that response confirms the truth resonates inside you. Your skin recognizes honesty faster than your mind processes it, and that instinct never lies about devotion. What this person hides from everyone is not darkness, it is tenderness so vast it overwhelms them. They built a performance around appearing unaffected, and behind that curtain exists a completely different reality. The first card is the Tower, and it reveals a complete internal collapse that happened inside them. The Tower represents destruction of every false belief that kept their emotions locked safely behind walls. Something shattered inside this person permanently, and what broke was the illusion they could survive without you. The Tower confirms that denial crumbled violently, and what remained afterward was unguarded, desperate, raw truth. Their emotional infrastructure was redesigned overnight, and the new blueprint centers entirely around your existence. This collapse was not tragedy, but liberation from a prison they never even realized they were occupying. The Tower stripped away every comfortable lie they told themselves, and the exposure left them beautifully vulnerable. What they secretly confess in private moments is that losing you terrifies them beyond any other fear. The fear of separation haunts them relentlessly, and no distraction has successfully managed to quiet that panic. They imagine scenarios where distance grows permanent, and those visions create a dread they never voice aloud. The depth of their fear mirrors the depth of their love, and both run where no words reach. The Eight of Cups arrives next, revealing the painful journey this person traveled to reach emotional readiness. This card shows them walking deliberately away from everything that no longer serves the depth of their feeling. Old habits and comfortable patterns were abandoned willingly because nothing before compares to what you offer. The Eight of Cups confirms they sacrificed familiar safety, choosing the unknown territory of genuine, vulnerable love. Leaving behind what felt safe required courage they never knew existed, and every single step cost them dearly. The sacrifice was not made from desperation. It was made from the certainty that you are worth everything. Their hidden desire is not casual companionship or mere convenience. It is permanent merging that transforms everything. They imagine waking beside you without urgency, and ordinary mornings together represent their deepest private fantasy. Domestic shared silence holds more power in their dreams than any grand gesture they could ever manufacture. They crave the privilege of being ordinary with you, and that quiet hunger defines their most hidden truth. Our final card is the King of Pentacles, revealing the provider instinct awakening powerfully inside them. The King of Pentacles confirms this person builds tangible security around you with absolute dedicated permanence. Their secret confession involves wanting to protect everything that brings you daily comfort and lasting peace. The King of Pentacles represents commitment through devoted action, not through empty promises or hollow words. They want to be the foundation holding your world steady, and that desire burns inside them without rest. What they hide most fiercely is the depth of their planning, because revealing it means total exposure. Blueprints for a shared future exist inside their mind, and the detail of those plans would astonish you. If warmth floods through your chest, or your hands tremble, That is your spirit recognizing every truth here. You are not imagining what you sense between you, and you were never wrong for believing it existed. Their silence about these confessions was never rejection. It was the sound of love too enormous to vocalize. Every word they swallowed carries your name permanently inscribed, and nothing erases that sacred, invisible imprint. The confessions buried inside them demand eventual release, and the pressure builds toward a breaking point rapidly. What they carry in silence belongs entirely to you, and soon that truth will refuse to stay contained. We arrived at the final stretch of this reading, and every previous card builds toward this sacred closure. Every card before this section built a foundation, and now the future reveals itself with absolute certainty. The Four of Wands appears as your near future card, and it radiates celebration and stability arriving soon. This card represents a milestone moment approaching fast, something that makes the bond publicly undeniable. The Four of Wands confirms a period of joy and partnership, solidifying everything previously left uncertain. Expect a moment where this relationship reaches a visible landmark, and both of you recognize the significance. Celebration surrounds this bond in the near future, and the happiness radiating from it draws universal admiration. The Four of Wands does not appear for fragile connections. It arrives when the structure is genuinely unshakable. Judgment arrives as your advice card, and it carries the most essential guidance this entire reading offers. Judgment asks you to release every old story about yourself that no longer matches who you actually became. The advice is resurrection and renewal completely, allowing past versions of yourself to rest so the current thrives. Judgment confirms that answering this call requires shedding outdated fears belonging to a previous chapter entirely. Step into this connection with the full authority of a person who survived everything and still chose love. The Ten of Pentacles seals this reading with generational permanence, confirming a legacy being built between you. The Ten of Pentacles represents lasting wealth in every form, and this relationship becomes the foundation of all. What you build together extends far beyond the present moment, reaching into a future that benefits generations. Lasting inheritance wraps this reading through the Ten of Pentacles, confirming that nothing here is temporary. Let me return the message to you now, because it deserves to land with its complete weight. This relationship will make everyone around you jealous, and that is not arrogance, it is simply inevitability. They are in love with you with every fiber, and you need to hold on tightly from here. That message was validated across every single card, appearing through all 6 parts of this sacred reading. The Two of Cups confirmed mutual soul recognition, and the Empress flooded this bond with limitless growth. The Knight of Wands brought passionate pursuit, and the Seven of Cups opened extraordinary doors of possibility. Your Five of Cups honored past grief, and the Hermit celebrated your solitary path toward inner wisdom. The Queen of Pentacles reflected grounded strength, and the Three of Swords acknowledged wounds that built resilience. Their Devil exposed obsessive attachment born from depth, and the Page of Cups revealed tender, reawakened innocence. The Nine of Wands captured exhaustion from hiding, while the Magician activated their power to finally manifest. The Wheel of Fortune spun destiny forward, and the Six of Wands promised triumphant public celebration ahead. A passionate new beginning ignited through the Ace of Wands, and the Tower shattered denial into vulnerable truth. The Eight of Cups confirmed sacrifice for love, and the King of Pentacles awakened fierce protective devotion. The Four of Wands promised celebration, Judgment guided resurrection, and the Ten of Pentacles sealed total permanence. This is real, and it was confirmed unanimously through cards that never once contradicted each other today. What exists between you two is the kind of love that makes the entire world pause and watch. Not a single card hesitated or offered conflicting energy, and that level of agreement is extraordinarily rare. Every part of this reading pointed unanimously toward one conclusion, and that conclusion is undeniable, lasting love. Let this truth settle deep into your bones tonight and release every fear that questioned this extraordinary bond. If this reading resonated deeply with your spirit, come back and share your confirmation when the signs arrive. Thank you for trusting me with your energy today. The love building here is genuinely sacred and earned. I am deeply honored to have witnessed what these cards revealed, and I believe extraordinary love awaits you. This reading closes, but the story accelerates from here, and the best chapter begins the moment you believe. Every card before this section built a foundation, and now the future reveals itself with absolute certainty. The Four of Wands appears as your near future card, and it radiates celebration and stability arriving soon. This card represents a milestone moment approaching fast, something that makes the bond publicly undeniable. The Four of Wands confirms a period of joy and partnership, solidifying everything previously left uncertain. Expect a moment where this relationship reaches a visible landmark, and both of you recognize the significance. Celebration surrounds this bond in the near future, and the happiness radiating from it draws universal admiration. The Four of Wands does not appear for fragile connections. It arrives when the structure is genuinely unshakable. Judgment arrives as your advice card, and it carries the most essential guidance this entire reading offers. Judgment asks you to release every old story about yourself that no longer matches who you actually became. The advice is resurrection and renewal completely, allowing past versions of yourself to rest so the current thrives. Judgment confirms that answering this call requires shedding outdated fears